Okay, go ahead, Ayi. So I'm not sure if I want to stop sharing, but I'm not sure if any of the questions are based on the chat. I might need to go back there to show us, or if everyone is okay with me stop sharing, because that helps me to see the person that is raising their hand and be able to communicate better with
Yeah,
us.
Temi is raising her hands now, right now.
Okay. All right. Hi, Timmy.
Hi, Moji. Thank you again for that great session. I have, well, one question. The other one is a clarification.
Okay.
There was a point when you were sharing your screen and you showed the burn down, but there was one you referred to as a release burn down. I just wonder if you could explain a bit more what that is. Is it like a release towards the end of the project, or what does a release burn down really mean?
Okay. So
And
in a project, you have different releases. Okay. It could be especially for Scrum, the ADMs. Tell me you're an ADM, isn't it?
No, Scrum Master.
Scrum Master. Okay, so for the ADMs, even for Scrum Masters, in your project, for the ADMs, there are roadmaps. You have roadmaps. You would, if you might be the one generating the roadmap as an ADM. It might be the product owner generating the roadmap. And what your roadmap track is your quarterly releases, or the releases you have in phases. So it might be that in a particular quarter, which is 3 months, there are some features that the business needs for the team to release at the end of that quarter. So we're looking at January, February, March. At the end of March, there are some features they want us to release. They might want it to be that it's a software that you have to upload data on, and they want the uploading functionality to have been developed, tested, and ready for release at the end of March. So you're looking at how many sprints is that? We're looking at that's 6 sprints to do that. So with your release burn down, what you're looking at is this is the end of each sprint, which you can also use. Like, let me go back to that chart. You can also use your the burn down chart to achieve that. Like it's here. Just go back there. And we can generate it also on Azure. Okay. So this is a release burn down, and you can see that it covers a number of sprints. So it's not showing dates, it's showing sprints. So it's covering from sprint 115 all the way to sprint 128. But because that chart has been created and every sprint is showing what is done. Okay, so for this particular chart, the person that generated it didn't enable the completed work. But you see all the spaces you have here, this white space, the spaces between your scope. This orange line is the scope, and then this light gray line that is going down, that's the burn down line. So between here and here, these are the works that have been completed from when it was over here. Okay, so if that person had enabled why I love enabling the green aspect, which shows me the completed work, is much visible and much easier for me to see what has been completed against what is still remaining, rather than leaving it this way. But at least the projected completion information is telling them that at the rate at which this project is being completed, this particular release, they're thinking that they'll be able to release at sprint 128, but the projected completion is saying that you have one more sprint to go. So that means that the release is going to be at sprint 129, at the end of sprint 129. But remember that the stakeholders have been told that that particular feature, or what we're looking at, that particular epic of features that we're looking at the end of sprint 28, they will have it. But this burn down is now saying that, oh, it's going to take you one more sprints to go to do it, and it's projecting it on time, because you can see that they still have about 5 sprints to go. So that team is able to collaborate and look at, okay, so we need to deliver this thing. So like I said, you might have a concrete reason why that is, and with that concrete reason also, you want to plan and collaborate as a team. What can we put in place to still be able to meet up with what we've said? If we're not able to, let the stakeholders know on time and let them know the reason why we're not able to. So that's just what you use your release burn down chart for. So like I said, there you have releases could be every quarterly, every 3 months. Some do their own every 6 months. Yeah, but and those are called releases. So that's when we release a particular, because that's how agile work, isn't it? We develop a little, the stakeholders review it, everything is okay, we release it. So that's what your release burn down tracks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
the second question, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, that was just something I wanted to clarify. I know you mentioned that, you know, if, for example, you're giving a report to the stakeholder, you know, don't screenshot your burnout or your velocity that is showing uncompleted work, because obviously it means that you didn't finish the work. But I'm just trying to relate that to when we learned about stakeholders, where we identified who they are. But there are also some stakeholders that, like in your team, like the people you are working with, who you need to show that to.
Of course.
Like, for example, to motivate them. So is it just the sponsors, or, you know, like the external vendors you're referring to as not showing uncompleted work on
It
this?
will be your external stakeholders.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. So for this one, you're able to, it's good to show your team. Okay, so I think where I said that was on your velocity. So with your velocity, even with your team, because you understand the charts. Yeah. Let's assume that
Yeah.
in this particular sprint, okay, no, let me go and look for the ones that is just sprints and not, okay. Let's assume that this particular sprint, this sprint, let's see what is it properly, but in this particular sprint, when we have this green, there is another bit at the top that is blue. Yeah, and we've gone some couple of sprints after that. What that is telling me, if I see a blue here, is that you've left some work in this sprint undone. Okay, that was what I was trying to explain, that even though the blue is there in your keynotes area to say incomplete, any work you don't complete in a particular sprint, you don't leave it in that sprint, do you? You carry it over to the next sprint. So that means as a Scrum Master, I have left some stories active in the sprint that has passed. So with your burn down chart, yes, you can, because that helps you to show what your burn down chart is showing is what we've completed against what is remaining by the end of the sprint. So I can leave that blue there just to show my team that, okay, at the end of the sprint, this was what we completed and this was what was remaining. But when it comes to your velocity, by the time, sorry, I'm just trying to get there. When it comes to your velocity, by the time I'm in this particular sprint, which is, I think is 12 or thereabout, and the story is live, is blue on my sprint 10, does that mean we've left those stories there active? We've not taken them on. And that's my job as a Scrum Master, because at the end of the sprint, I'm the one that is meant to move stories that are not completed, if that is the agreement, to the next sprint. So at no point in time at the end of your sprint, when there is a chart showing for another sprint, should any story be showing blue on your previous sprint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one question while you're on that. So if, for example, at the moment, you know, our sprints are 2 weekly. So now the sprint we're in runs from the 2nd of October to finish on the 15th. If on the burn down chart is showing projected completion date of a date in November, what does that really mean? It's saying like 39 days more. Is that in this particular sprint, you know, the amount of, you know, work PBIs we have is not going to be completed by the 15th, but it's projecting it will be completed by November instead, based on the capacity?
Okay, so yeah, what is telling you is what you've just said. It's saying that the work remaining is projecting that at the rate at which they're working. You know, like I said, your charts are real time. So it knows when the stories are moved. Let's assume that one story was moved the second day of sprint, and another story was not moved again until maybe 3-4 days later. Your chart is picking it up. It's picking that pace. For all the times, like I said, that's let me see if I have anyone that is flat. I'm just going to go back to the burn down. Okay, good. For these 3 days now, okay, this is even a task. Don't let me, I'll come back to that. Okay, so at the beginning over here, you can see that everything we've committed to, okay, so we have some green there. But there are times when you will, because this one is completed, there are times when, okay, let's come to the bottom over here now. Over here, there are times when you see the line, the gray line, which is your burn down line, just going straight. So that what that is saying is over those days, nothing was completed. And that is what your chart will pick up and give you your projected completion. So say at the pace at which you're working, at the process at which you're burning, it's going to take you 2 more days to complete. It's going to take you 6 more days to complete, because it's looking at all those flat times. And what that is telling you or telling me as a Scrum Master, when I'm looking at it, does this mean then that my team didn't do anything for these 3 days that is flat? Is that why things are not burning? Like I said, there might be a logical, reasonable explanation for it. But as a Scrum Master, I want to check also, so that when I'm getting to the stand up and everything, you know. All right, so your team members can be quite should I use the word intelligent? Okay, so I'm on a task burn down, and I'm seeing that is flat. I'm just going to come here, and I'm seeing that is flat. And I know that our task is an activity that is done within a day or less. So if it's showing me flat, there is no issue, no blockage, no impediment. Does that mean then that for 3 days, no task was completed? When our task work item is meant to be what you can complete, activities that you can carry out within a day or less. And I'm saying 3 days, nothing is done. Do you see what you can read through your chart? And then by the time you get into the stand-up, yeah, and the team members are telling you, oh, I'm working on this and everything, and then you can ask, not accusingly, like I say, just to say, oh, sorry, just to get clarification. I think that was the same thing you said you were working on, you know, where we had stand up yesterday. It was the same story you're working on and everything. Is there any impediment? Was there any reason why it has not been completed? You know, once your team members know you are that smart Scrum Master that picks to know that, oh, so she knew that was the story I was working on. She knew that was the task that I was carrying out yesterday and everything. And she's able to, you know, you've been able to catch them. You know, you didn't say it accusingly and everything. I bet you the next time they are coming to sprint planning, they're not coming to tell you the same thing. Sure, that task will move, because they know that you know your onions. And that is what you do by being the board administrator, monitoring what they're doing, not supervising, okay, just monitoring what they're doing, so that you know that they are using the process, the Scrum process, the right way it should be used. I hope that helps, Kemi. Oh, sorry, Temi.
Yes, it does. I'm just using what you're saying to like look at our teams one and understand what's going on there. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions?
Can I go now? Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that in the efforts burn down chart, that the total scope increase was 2 days. Yeah. 2 days. While
the projected completion of it.
Yeah, you say no, the total scope increase.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 more days. The projected completion 2 more days. While for the product backlog is 10 days. So how do you marry these two? Is it that they will not make it 12 days, or I don't understand?
What you have is, this one is saying that for the effort, it's just going to take 2 more days because the remaining effort is 2.
Okay.
That's why I say, even though it's for the same sprint, they are tracking different things. So this one is tracking the effort. This one is tracking the number of work backlog item. So you can see that it's saying that the user story also is 2. So if I look at both, I can say, oh, then that means it's just one story point on them.
Yeah.
If this one is 2 and this one is also 2. But look at the total scope increase. It's using the total scope increase that, oh, they took in more. And it's saying that these 2 backlog that they have is going to take them 6 more days to complete it based on the way they've worked during the sprint.
Okay.
Based on the fact that they took in a lot. You can see total scope increase was 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Moji, this the chart now, is it from the data that we collated from team members and all that we input into this chart?
So
or how does
all this come about? These charts are the stories you've put on you committed to. So all those stories you see on your board, the way they are moving from committed to dev, from dev to dev done, the same way they are moving, that's the pace that these charts are looking at per day. So on this particular day, on everyone you see flat, until a story gets to done, you won't see it turn green. So the developer might have worked on it, the keyways might have done what they need to do. It could be what was delaying it is UAT, but until it gets to closed on your main board, it doesn't turn green on your chart.
Okay.
And that's why you have to check things to, do gentle nudging. You notice that the stories are completed, they are sitting in UAT. You want to check with your BA to say, oh, there are some stories waiting for you in BA. They might not know. In UAT, they might not know it's there. And then once they finish it and they put it in UAT done, you move it, check what you need to check to make sure all the tasks on it are completed and everything, and then you move it to done. So if you yourself don't go to the board, on time, or maybe you're going to the board 2 day or the last day of sprint and you've seen that, oh, there are about 4 or 5 or 6 in UAT done, that the BAs have completed, but I have not moved it myself and everything, then you quickly move it. But daily, you're supposed to monitor your board.
Okay. That was the next question I wanted to ask, the how frequency.
Every day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions? Okay, let me just stop sharing.
Will it be helpful, Moji, that's if everybody is happy with it, for us to share our current...
Yes, please. That was the next thing I was going to say. That if we can,
because I'm a bit confused with the amount of information.
Let's share our projects, our dashboard, and then we'll just see what is there, and then we can talk through them also.
Super Alpha, is anybody happy to share, or you want me to go?
Go, Demi. Go, Demi.
No, not leave me alone. All right. Please let me know when you can see the screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you can see your screen. Okay, you can make it bigger, especially your sprint burn down. If you go to the right-hand corner, you see that arrow, the one that has double arrow at the end.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. Just click on it. It will make it bigger for us to see better. Okay.
So see, that's the one I was talking about. That says
projected. Okay, so if you look at yours now, you're more than halfway across your project and nothing has been completed.
Yeah, because nothing is
green. And that's why it's projecting for you to say at the rate at which things are going, you need 39 more days.
But does that not mean that it's not taking into account, like you said, that work that is being done that the developers may be working, the QAs are working, but it's just not going to take all that into consideration until
it's not. It won't. It only takes into consideration because until it gets to closed, it's not completed. You've not met the definition of done until it gets to closed.
So in the real world, if you had a chart like this, would you be worried? Or if you knew what work was being done and that you could wake up in 24 hours and everything is green, would you be worried or concerned?
It's not a good pattern where, okay, like you have now, it's not a good pattern when at your either on the 14th or on the 15th is when everything turns green. It's good because you will say, oh, well, we've completed everything we needed to do. But really, it's not a good pattern because you've left roughly how many days when it's flat. You rightly said, it's not as if work is not done. It's not as if everybody's sitting down, not doing anything. So you want to highlight that to the team. What happened? Why did everything get completed? Or why did all the stories got to closed on the 14th? Why not before then? Let's go to your project, but let's see what's going on there.
Okay, so how do I click out of this? Just
click out of it to go back here.
Okay. Because today at the daily stand-up, the developers were saying, they've completed everything and nothing is sitting in doing all in dev done now. So I was quite surprised when we went to the chat and that was there. But it could mean that they are finished, but there's still a bit of work to be done on the testing side.
So the developers might be finished, the QAs might not have finished.
Yeah.
Or the BAs or the PO. I don't know who is doing the what is it called? The UAT. But that could be the reason. Yeah. Just click on the alpha. Okay. Yeah. Just click on that one to bring it in. Okay, so let's scroll to the right.
Yeah.
So we still have a story in dev doing. There's one in dev done. Okay. So this is why I said that as Scrum Masters, you need to come on the board. You can see that your QAs are finished 6 stories. Those stories, you need to get in touch with your BA or move them into UAT and get in touch with your BAs to come and do UAT. So work is really moving. But as you can see, because things have gotten stuck at your QA done, your BAs are not picking that up to do UAT on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not careful, that would get done, rushed on a day to the end of sprint or the last day of sprint.
So just picking up on what you have said, then I'll shut up. So see, to move it to UAT, because I think there's a message on the group where the QAs are saying, oh, can the Scrum Master please move this? Should they, for best practice, is it best that you have a meeting and in their presence they see that you're moving it, or they just drop you a message and say move and then you go on the board and move?
You know why they are dropping you a message that the stories the Scrum Master should move it is because they know you've not been on the board. If you've been on the board, you would have.
They just did it after the
after the stand up. Okay. Cool.
On the call to clarify stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you can move everything to UAT, but get in touch with your BA to come and run the UAT. So that once they've done the UAT on it and they move it to UAT done, and then you can now close it up. And then you can start seeing the green you want to see on your chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Do your BAs attend your stand-up?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So now we know why we don't have any green yet.
Yeah, and then
so you can just on your platform tell the move everything in UAT and then get in touch with your BAs that there are stories for the stories in UAT for their attention. Or in order to help them to self-organize or self-manage, you can tell them that there are stories in QA done that needs their attention. So they can move it to in UAT themselves.
Yeah.
And do the UAT on it. Either way.
What does this mean? See, under this QA done, what's this like Bottle with a red on it. What does that
That's
mean?
a failed test. So
Like
the bottle
experiment.
is a test case. So they've run a test, and that course means it has failed. I don't know if they've raised a bug for the developer, but I can't see a bug.
They talked about bug, but to be honest, sometimes when they're talking, it just feels like gibberish. No, I don't have an idea what, but they are talking. I know. All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Before you go off, Temitope, I don't know whether you scrolled down. I'm just getting here to see that part. Do you want to scroll down on the remaining stories, please? Just gently, the ones under QA done. Yeah, keep coming. But okay, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Okay, they all look good except one. Go back up. Now the one that has 1/1. Are you telling me it's only who worked on it? Is it that who did the logo? The QA cannot have done the logo. Do you understand? It has to be the dev. Is it that one of them did not raise a ticket? One of them did not raise a tax?
Click on the 1/1.
Because it's for me, it's a flag. Everything looks good, but that 1/1 is a flag. One person could not have worked.
One person didn't create their own task.
Yeah, one of them did not create their task.
Either the developer or the tester. Who is Alex?
Alex is a QA.
Okay,
but
so
this
Alex
one doesn't have
Alex.
I think he has Adiola Oshon, yeah?
That's the person that created it. That's the BA.
That's the BA. Oh, okay. And then okay, that's Tosin Banjo, right? Okay.
So that means
Alex, Alex is the QA that raised that. See, Alex, mentors.
All right, okay, I can see that now. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex created it, so it's the dev.
So that means it's your developer that didn't create a task.
So, one of the things that I learned being an SM is you must always have eagle eye, no matter how small the things are. So this should have actually been spotted even before they got. I know, yeah. If you're going to understand it, well, yeah, I get you. Then understanding what you are spotting. Yeah, I get you. I get exactly. You. All of us went through the journey. That's the point we're trying to say. So then, the fact that you say they are also speaking gibberish, yeah, they are speaking gibberish, but you have to listen to that gibberish because you need to understand them to an extent so that they won't bamboozle you. But the deep down of the gibberish is what is not really your concern. But you have to try to listen. What we recently started doing is at the daily stand-up, obviously share the screen. And so while you're talking and pointing to things, I'm like, oh, is this the one you're referring to? Okay. All right, okay. So it makes a bit more sense, but even that, they go easily into technical terms, and you're like, all right. Okay. You're just in week 1, sprint 1. Okay, you started week 2.
But allow me, please. Oh, sorry, but how did you get to know that she, that's what we as SM are trying to understand right now. How did you get to know that the task is not completed?
Oh, okay. So
yes, because we just opened the board and we
every ticket 1/1. Yeah. Yeah, I get you. So in every ticket, Moji has taken you guys through it, but the thing is, it takes a while for you to now understand. You understand? So now for every ticket, when it comes to your composition of the team will determine. Now, if this was my team in real sense of it, my own team right now, I won't complain because my dev guys are the ones that create their stories. They're the ones that do the dev work. They're the ones that do the testing. So I won't complain if I see a 1/1 if we're using Azure board for my team. But in Blue Sky, our team composition tells us that a BA writes it, a dev guy picks it up, and a QA also works on it. So the minimum I'm expecting on each ticket is 2 minimum. That means they probably only did manual. But if they're going to do manual and automation, we should be expecting maybe 2 things or 3 things rather, because the dev guy will just do, he doesn't care what you want to test it, but the QA will do 2 things. Do you get? So if I'm seeing 2/3, 3/3, if I see 2/2 in my head, I'll say both of them did. The dev guy raised the ticket and then the QA did only manual testing. If I see 3, I'll suspect that the QA probably did an automation already.
I don't know if you get my gist.
Yeah,
I can discern the amount of tax that will go on a ticket, but
okay.
yeah, don't worry, to take time. No, it's
So
not
like this one that says 3/3 now,
as it
and
is
if
right
you
now. You're
click on
already
it,
understanding, so don't worry.
Okay.
And I was actually going to make mouth to Yab Azure DevOps earlier when Muji was talking about the velocity part, when he says you take it to another sprint, something that place showing green. Sorry, Jira will never allow that. Jira will ensure you close everything before you move to the next sprint. So that's one of the goodies of Jira, in the spirit of arguing Jira and Azure DevOps. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
This war between Jira and Azure DevOps.
I rest my case.
You know, so Jira cannot let you proceed in this life if you don't close your sprint and start again.
Azure DevOps is better.
If you like, argue with your pencil, argue with your erasers.
You know, that's why sometimes
Thanks, Ken, for
Jira,
having my
you will
back,
have
guys.
incomplete stories being taken on, being completed. You know?
No, you will not. It depends on the Scrum Master, except the Scrum Master doesn't know what you're doing. You can close all your stories and then carry it over to the next sprint. So anything that is not completed, once you close it on Jira, it takes it to the next sprint. And on that story, on that ticket, you can now scroll down and see that this ticket has been existing from the previous sprint. So it will tell you the number of sprints that ticket is existing from. Anyways,
I can't argue for or against now because I've not tasted the two soup.
Okay, we'll know in the future. So,
yeah.
I think maybe not this week, maybe next week we'll do Jira. But I want you guys to first settle down with this a bit. Maybe sometime we'll do Jira. Okay. Well, you guys are supposed to have started because of your career development, but don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay.
Moji, your children. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, they're already teaching them test case and test plan today. So you guys will rest. Don't worry, you'll not fight people again. Teach them test case today, test plan tomorrow. Moji, are you ready for the ADMs? Or sorry, before that, does anybody have any other question? I'm telling you guys, utilize Ken. Ken is here for you people. Utilize him, suck their.
I'm holding him by the leg.
Hold him by his trousers and his leg, everything. Hold Ken, no. Hold Ken, no. Oh yeah, any questions? Moji, are you done?
Sorry, I've got a question for you. Right. So how do you use your velocity to checkmate scope creep?
So for me on Jira.
On using the chat that would display.
Are you asking me for Jira?
On Azure DevOps. Sorry, okay. It was for the question was for Moji.
Okay. So for on Azure DevOps, you can track scope creep because you have the blue bar showing you, the light blue bar showing you your planned work. Now, in the situation where you have your completed, offshooting over your blue bar, definitely that shows you the scope increase. There's been a scope creep. But the good thing about that is that you're able to see it completed. Okay, so there were increase, we're able to complete it. But let's assume we took in we have the blue line on our velocity, and then we have the green one showing that everything is completed at par with our blue line. That will be telling you that, oh, everything that was planned was completed. But when you go on your board, really, you would see that, oh, we didn't complete our scope, our sprint goal, we've not completed it. And then I'm looking at my velocity chart and I'm saying, oh, but the bar is telling me that we've completed everything. But on the board, definitely, your burn down chart will show you that everything has not been completed. So then I go back on my board to check, okay, so what exactly got completed? What is remaining? At work, I use Jira, and there's something we've been able to put in as a form of improving how we work. There is a sprint scope fields that we've put into both our user story and also our task. And every team member has been coached to say that you have to take conscious efforts to use that. And before we got to that, I had to explain to them what the fields or the drop down, the text in the drop down, what they mean. So in the sprint scope field, we have it's a drop down, and what we have inside is planned, unplanned, scope creep, and point creep. Yeah. And I've explained to them what each one means, so that by the time it's added into the on the board, they are clicking on that. So if it's for anything that is planned, immediately we finish sprint planning, I complete that field myself. I put everything that is planned, I put it in. So any story that comes on board that is not planned, or planned one is any work that is brought into sprint that is not related at all to our sprint goal is unplanned. Any work that comes into sprint that is related with our sprint goal but is not planned, we didn't plan it initially. So these are things that maybe the backend developers are developing, they found something there, and it's something that is dependent on what they need to build. So they need to deal with that first before they can build what they need to build because of that dependency. That will be scope creep. Is something that we need to do, is in line with our sprint goal, and it's something that we need to do in order for us to progress. So it's an increase, it's increasing the scope of what we plan to do. So they would create tasks definitely against that story. And at that point, I've told them or explained and coached them that they need to put in scope creep for that particular task. Also, there are times when the product owner will come to say, oh, this is critical, we need to work on it, and everything. If we allow it, we'll have to allow it if it's critical, if it's something disturbing production and all that. We put that as point creep, because that story that is coming in, you have to story point it, and that is an increase to our story point. Definitely, we're getting something out for that we're accommodating, but we're putting point creep on it to say, after we've planned, this is an increase point that came in. So all those, at the end of the day, when we finished, I'm able to use the query, to generate a data set that shows me the stories that are planned, the stories that are unplanned, the ones that are scope creep, and the ones that are point creep. And I generate a chart either on Power BI or Excel for that to show the team, to say that these were the things, because then it will be showing you all planned works. And then it will be showing you the percentage of the planned works that are completed, the percentage of the unplanned works that are completed, the percentage of the scope creep that are completed and are remaining. Now, during the retro, I shared that with the team. I showed them that, and I'm showing them, I'm saying that we've taken in so amount. We've just, out of everything we planned, we've been able to complete maybe 58%. However, for all the unplanned stories that we took in, we completed it 100%. And then as a team, we're discussing to say, okay, going forward, we want to know the number of stories that we take in that are unplanned, because it will happen. There's no way, I don't even think it will happen. It will happen whereby business is coming in to say, oh, quickly, we need this to be worked on. They need to use it. The team has to use it and things like that. So just because the light bar for planned is meeting with the green bar, they are on the same level, making it look as if, oh, everything we planned, we've worked on. It might not be everything we planned that we worked on, because your board will tell you anyway, the stories that are still remaining. Then you would know that there are unplanned works that have been completed against what has been planned. And then you will have to do further charts, like I said, use the query to get to know what is going on, the things that are planned that have been completed against what has not been completed, and generate a chart for business for that, for your team, number one, and also for business, because that I can take that to business to say, this is what you wanted us to focus on in this sprint. But for all the times you bring all these unplanned work for the team members to work on, is disturbing us from completing what we've taken into sprint. That is statistics, that is analytics that you're able to show them in order to prove your point and in order to negotiate the reduction of unplanned work going into the sprint. I hope that's clear. Now,
yeah, that's perfect. It was just to, I think, why I asked the question so that the the rest of the team can understand, the different lines and also understand, in practical terms. So fantastic explanation. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ken. And the first thing I was going to ask, guys, did you understand all what Moji said?
Oh my gibberish.
No.
I know they won't understand.
Okay. You know what? For the ADMs, yeah. Okay, and even for the Scrum Masters, let's finish this sprint. Let's have another. So you see, why you won't understand is because in the internship you get to work on just what was taken into sprint. You don't have that situation where the PO brings in things during the sprint that you need to work on. But in the workforce out there, you will have that happening. You will have business coming with stories that are critical that they want you to work on.
Please tell me, say that again.
Every day.
They're drowning us with CR every day. We have new CRs every day. Sorry, guys. Apologies.
Yeah.
I'm just ranting.
So that would always happen. And once that happens, you can see it, and the teams are saying, oh, the business needs this, we will need to work on it. But the same business that needs it and needs to work on it are the same ones that I wanted you to complete your sprint goal. Remember? And once that sprint goal is not completed, they will ask you question again. So I always provide I prepare my chat to talk to them to say why we've not completed the sprint goal is because you brought in all this 1, 2, 3. Now we've been able to do just a percentage of what we planned because we focus more on the unplanned one to do. So I'm throwing it back to them to say we need to reduce, the things. And then even the things now, we've put a thing in place whereby developers can't just bring any story in and then explain it during stand-up. It has to go through the dev lead, and the dev lead has to make a decision to say, am I approving this to go on? And that decision is made with him having a meeting with myself and the PO, where we sit down to say, oh, you brought this in. Do we need to do it now? What is the timeline in the roadmap for us to actually do this and everything? And you find that most times the things that the business are saying, oh, you must do it now, it's just a want, it's a good to have. It's not a must have, but they just want to have it. And what they are not looking at, like I've said, is the timeline of all the other things that are important that you've told us to work on. So it's being able to meet them at that point to say, how is this going to impact the business if we don't do it? How is it going to impact the clients, the prod, the live environment if we don't do it now? It's not going to impact, it's not going to stop the functionality. It's not going to stop the design of the feature and everything. It's just something that they feel that, oh, if we have it on the website, it will be good, end users will be happy. Then we can do it as an improvement. And not do it when we have other things that needs to go out. But don't worry, it's something that you have to experience to be able to understand better. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, but I will just try and use this to explain to you guys in 1 minute. So all what Moji has said, in Jira, we actually have a plugin that is Sprint Health. So it tells you everything Moji has just explained. So for this team, for example, let me just explain what you're seeing. So for this team, all the story points they took in, if you add all this, they took 45 story points in. They have gone through 33 story points. Let's say these are the ones in to-do that they've not started working on. 5 story points in progress and 7 completed, something like that. Sorry. And then they are already on, let's say their sprint is a Monday to Friday. They're already on a Tuesday for them to have completed 67%. This is an assumption, and I want to believe so, because it's 10 working days, for example, for a 2-week sprint. So they have done 7 days from, okay, sorry, see here now, the right sprint, 3 days left for the sprint. So this is just saying that they've done 7 days of the sprint, and they've only done 16% of the work complete. So if you actually do 7 over whatever or 45, right? You see that it's 16% thereabouts. Now, scope change. In between the sprints, they have added new things to sprint, which is 9% of new things that have been added into sprint. That can affect them delivering their main goal. Now, also note that scope change can be negative if something was in sprint and somebody took it out and nothing was replaced, nothing was added, you'll be seeing -2, -10, -5. But in this case, there might have still been minuses here, but there are some pluses that ruled it over to extra 9% of what they originally planned. Now, they're telling you that they have just 2 blockers so far from the number of stories they put in. And then they flagged one of their stories. That flagging can mean different things. Either they flagged it for a spike, they flagged it for anything. I don't know what they would have flagged it for. Then, of course, these are the faces of their team members. Here it just tells you that the number of people working on this, they are a 9-man squad, which is a very healthy, agile team. So this is just the interpretation of what she has told you about scope creep. Now, in scope creep, Scrum Masters, just be very careful. Don't let people bring in things. But the truth is, there's something we used to say as Scrum Masters. When they bring in things, when maybe a priority is changing or something, it's 2 ways. Never say no, never say yes. Always take it in. Don't take it into sprint. Oh, what I mean, take it in, take it, just give them a feedback that will get back to you. Speak to your team. You check some things. Do I have the capacity to do it as a team? Do we have the technical skills to do it as a team? If we do it, is this going to affect our sprint goal? Now, if it's going to affect our goal at the end of the day, and you know, originally your management knows that this is what people have for goal for this sprint. You can do a trade. You told me to do ABC. Now you're bringing D, telling me D is very important than anything. So according to priority of ABC, B has the lowest priority, for example. So can I take out B and do it next sprint? Or if we finish it on time, we can still do it this sprint. But note that we'll put B in kind of a parking lot and we'll take in your D to become the #1 priority of the day. I don't know if my English is very clear. So that's a trade by barter too. Rather than forcing your teams to do things they cannot do and then you people end up not achieving the goal. And you know, sometimes when you want to start doing something, you have to first even look at it first to be reasoning. One full day might have gone in. You people trying to strategize how you want to do it. So you have to be very smart as a Scrum Master. But you see, if you're a Scrum Master that once they bring something, they say, no, they will know you for no. They will just chase you out of that team. You say, oh, okay, that's fine. How about I quickly look at it and discuss with my team? Let's see how it goes, you know, bring in the right people, the developers, everybody. If everybody in the team at this moment will be right, everybody will quickly do an ad hoc meeting, 30 minutes, quickly look at it, because you're trying to do a refinement and a sprint planning at a goal for that particular thing they said people should add as priority. But the truth is, organization knows best when it comes to these things. They have told you this is not a priority, there's nothing you can do. So you can't tell them outright no. But in your yes, make sure there's a clause that don't forget, we're going to take the least priority out in place of this D that you have told us is a full priority. So that's how you always put on your thinking cap. Don't be a yes, ma'am. Don't be a no, ma'am. You understand? Always come in a neutral ground and come with your yes as a team. But they will know that you guys are trading something. So this is what we use in Jira to show our sprint health. However, it's just a plugin. It's just a gadget. For me, all I'm going to do is dashboard and you get out this gadget and put it there, right? So the same way you bring in your burn down, bring in your this, use it as a gadget. However, I can also read all this from the velocity, or most of it from our velocity or our burn down chart or something. You can read it from other charts too, but it will not just come in this format to show you everything at a glimpse. You understand? So all what Moji was trying to explain is things can be scope creep, things can be this. Just open your eyes, open your mind. And like she said, sometimes it comes with practice for you to be able to know it. And trust me, Blue Sky will equip you with that practice to be able to know it. So just put your eyes down and just be coming down. You're just in sprint 1. So by sprint 2, sprint 3, you'll be getting used to it gradually, except you don't apply yourself, or except you're not paying attention or even putting hands on those things. So, but you guys will be fine. Is that okay? Is it a bit clearer? A bit, so I'm not saying it's totally clear, but is it a bit clearer?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Right. So, Moji, does it flow a bit with what you mean, or is there another extra thing you probably said?
Of course.
All righty. So I just thought to show you guys easily. I would have probably just browsed and checked for Azure Gadget to show some of these things, because all those things are actually plugins. You remember how you set up your Azure, your dashboard? You did it yourself. It was a blank canvas, but you were the one that brought in your sprint planning, your velocity, your sprint. Just check. Most times there are all these gadgets there, but it's just that it also depends. Some companies in general, they have limited gadgets and all that. Some you just need to refer to IT to get you guys the plugin, and that's if they are safe, because they're going to pay for some of these extra plugins. So, but this plugin is like a simple basic one actually. So you should have it on a natural board, right? So I just thought to share, and I hope it was helpful. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Okay, are we ready for 8 p.m.? Or is there any other question?
Yes.
Because
Okay, is there any other question before we? Any other questions? Okay, IJ, if you can stop recording.
thank
Thank
you.
you.